Good morning everybody, thanks for joining me again. Oh no, that audio is absolutely terrible, isn't it? Unfortunately, I made the mistake of thinking I could just use my GoPro. This is it here, just downloading. And even with a slight breeze, as you can hear, the wind noise was awful. So I apologise. I really wasn't going to put this video out, but the film was so good, the light was so good, I thought, okay, let's try and make something of it. Anyway, lesson learned, and next time I'll use a proper microphone. Well, just had a mad rush here at Combestone Tor. Got here just as the sun was coming up, so just got the camera out, ran around for 2 or 3 minutes just trying to get some really good photos. Just look at the light on the Tor, absolutely fantastic this morning. And in the distance I can see just a dusting of snow still on the high moor, and even here you've got some pockets of snow, and you can see the light just making these grasses really shine. Well, I couldn't really lose with this light, could I? Even the signpost at the exit to the car park looked nice. Just crouched down to get this composition and got some lovely light. So I'd set this shot up just before the sun came up. Wanted to get a silhouette of the Tor with the light shining through it. All I've done is try to include some snow that was still there and use this rock for some foreground interest, and I have increased the shadows in post-processing just slightly so you can see some definition in the rocks. And as the sun came higher, a little bit more light, so a little bit more interest in the rocks, and I've just moved round slightly and really like the light on the clouds and just the shapes of the rocks. But don't always look towards the sun. With this one I've moved around just to show the light on these rocks. Not the greatest of composition. I've tried to use the rock in the foreground to lead you up to the other ones, and really enjoyed this. Mad rushing around. Well, looks like I've lost that initial light. Sun's just gone up into a layer of cloud now, so I think what I'll do is I'm going to walk down across the moor here. Lots of interest here, so there's some farms over the back there, lots of stone walls, and there's an old track that runs across the moor. Also there's a couple of leats that run across Dartmoor here. So I think I'm going to walk down across the moor. There's some interesting tracks, some stone walls where the farm buildings are, and of course there's the River Dart. And let's see what we can find. Well, this is the first of the leats, but you can see this one's been dry for quite some time. But I know there's another one just a little bit further down the moor with some water flowing, so let's go and have a look at that. Well, here's the other leat. Unfortunately there's no light at the moment, so although there's There must be a good photograph here somewhere. There's nothing lighting up the scene, so I'm going to have a little look around, see if I can find anything. But lovely, peaceful little bridge here. Some lichen hanging off the trees. Very quiet. I think I'll spend a little bit of time here just trying to find some good photographs. Well, the sun's come out, there's a little bit more light, although it's still quite dim, so I'm using a high ISO. But I'm trying to get handheld shots around this little rock bridge, trying to get some of the leat in the bridge and these little hawthorn bushes. God, it's cold this morning. Well, hopefully you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get this little outcrop of heather which hangs over the leat, the bridge, the tree, and as you can see there's a little bit of light. So let's try that, shall we? Well, I had great hopes for this composition, but it doesn't really work. I can't see enough of the water, and all you see is the grasses, the rocks and the trees. There's nothing leading you through the photograph. If I got a little bit higher, like I did in the earlier video, you could have seen the leat running away into the distance. That probably would have been a better shot. Never mind. Let's move on and see what else I can find. Having to be really careful walking across the moor. You can see where there's been lots of water as well as snow, and you can see where the grass has been flattened by the flow, and it's still very, very icy. So far I'm having a good morning. Just come across another twisted old hawthorn. The shapes of this with the moss at the bottom of the trunk clinging on to the rocks. God, it's still cold. This is a really nice subject. Shame there isn't more light. But I'm going to take a shot of this anyway, just for a record. Definitely going to come back to this one. Who knows, sun might come out again later on, and this is on the way back to the car, so let's see if I'm having any more luck. So lots of interest in this twisted old hawthorn. With this first image I'm trying to lead your eye from the mossy foreground through the rock and through the tree. I think what I could have done better is probably brighten the sky a little bit. And this one I've tried to exclude the sky and just concentrate on the trunk. And as I said, there wasn't much light first thing, so this may be a composition I have to come back to. And then finally, this is the shot I took on the way back to the car. A lot more light, so I'd been able to reduce the ISO. And again, trying to exclude the sky and give a more moody composition. Not sure if it works. Well, I found a lovely little shot here. Got these hawthorn bushes either side of the path. and the snow and ice has formed almost like a little cascade frozen in time coming down the path. Lovely snaking leading line framed by the trees, and with the rocks sticking out of the path, maybe I can get some foreground interest. Nice leading line and some trees, and if I get the exposure right, maybe that sky looks nice as well. Let's go, let's try that. So as you can see, that's got to make a nice shot, hasn't it? Well, yep, a good shot, but could have done with some more light. What I've had to do in post-processing is brighten the snow to make it stand out, darken the sky so you can see the clouds radiating out from the tree. Not bad, but as I say, could have done with more light. So, quick change of scene. I'm down in the forest, making my way down to the river, and as you may have noticed, I've put the 200 to 600mm lens on. I can hear lots of birds, and you never know what you're going to see down on the river, so best to be prepared. So my glasses have come off so I can see through the lens of the camera. And I'm just taking it easy, walking down to the river. There's a brook that runs down into it. Now I'm just going to stay here for a while and just watch to see what's moving around. I'm a little way back from the brook at the moment, but really best to try and stay concealed and just see what's there before I start stomping around. Well, I've gradually moved a little closer. All I've seen so far is a robin hopping around the rocks. So I'll follow the brook down to the river and keep looking. And let's face it, even if I don't see any wildlife, look at this, it's gorgeous. I've just been taking some B-roll just to give you some nice images of the river, but there's very little wildlife around. Maybe it's just too cold. It was about -2, -3 when I got here this morning, and the river's still running quite high, but there is some sun starting to come through, so I'll give it a few more minutes and then I'll change back to the shorter lens and make my way back. So I'm really glad I put my 16 to 55mm lens back on just in time to see some beams of light coming through the trees. Let's see if we can get a photo of that. Well, this was a test of my camera skills, and trying to choose the right settings was really difficult. I was trying to capture the beams coming through the trees and the highlights on the rocks, but still get enough interest in the trees around. This picture's a little bit dark, but I quite like the moody aspect of it. And with this one, what I was trying to do is get obviously that sunburst. The sun had just come up over the top of the hill, so f16 to get the sunburst, but I had to up the ISO. This is ISO 1000 to get the light in the foreground and some detail in those shadows. Well, you definitely win some and lose some. Took the long lens off and got the sun coming through the trees, but just a few moments along the path there's a gold crest and some long-tailed tits in the trees, and I've missed them. I can still hear them, and if I stop, put the long lens back on, you can bet they'll be off. Never mind, another one for another day. There he is, flying backwards and forwards. So I'm back at this gnarly old tree, and as I thought, as I come back up the hill, the sun's higher in the sky and there's more light on the tree. Now, whether the light is better than it was earlier, who knows. I'll take some shots and we'll see what they're like. Anyway, I think that's enough for today. Next time you see me, I'll be in Abisko National Park in Sweden, hopefully in a few weeks' time. It's currently about -10 to -20 there, and I'm hoping to go out in the snow and, as always, see what we can find. But for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give me a like. Cheerio. Thank you.